So yesterday morning, we went up to the pasture at River Falls, and I've been seeing a lot of birds up there in March, and they've done a bunch of clear cutting up there, and the birds were real into what all had been turned up by the tractors and whatnot, and they were just milling all around in this pasture like ants. But we really didn't know what they're going to be doing, so we got up there. We got up there late. I picked you up, and the sun was coming up at 6, and it was like a full moon. And we haul ass up there like 15 minutes, and we're going in the gate, and there are birds just hammering when we're going in the gate. And I'm thinking, oh shit, they're gonna see us for sure. But fortunately, we sneak in there, get up under this holly tree, and was hoping to have some birds kind of fly down in front of us, but it ends up the birds fly down way over us into this pasture, and they fly down early. And they're in the pasture, but really can't see what's out there. But finally they start gobbling, so we know the gobbler's out there in the pasture. And they're at our back. You know, we're facing up the mountain, pasture's behind us, birds are behind us. And at that point, then turkeys start showing up everywhere. There are jakes out in front of us fighting, there are hens everywhere, there are gobblers behind us. And it's just kind of like, well, shit, they don't, you know, they're gobbling at my call, but nobody's coming in. And all of a sudden we hear like thunder thighs go off, just. And he finally comes in by the old swimming pool, and he comes down in there, he kind of mills around for a little bit, doing some gobbling, and then he decides to go out in the pasture, and he's meeting up with this other gobbler that's been out there in some jakes. And when he shows up to the party, what I thought was the dominant bird at the time, he packs his shit up and he starts coming our way. He's like, well, I better go get a piece of that before I get my ass kicked. So he starts heading our way, and Trey's sitting here beside me. We're wanting to get some good footage. The bird's kind of coming back in over my left shoulder, and I'm thinking, oh, do I want to shoot this bird, or do I want to try to get old thunder thighs over there? So I let this bird come in. Trey ends up getting some pretty good footage of this bird kind of meandering around, walking around us. And these birds haven't been hunted yet this year, so they're not spooky yet. And the bird ends up kind of sitting out at like 70 yards from us for seemed like an hour, just gobbling and strutting. And we, and thunder thighs and the jakes, they just hang out there in the field for pretty much all morning until we, you know, our ass ran out of time and we were ready to go. So we decided to just pack it up, push the birds out. And so we got up and left and spooked the birds, you know, and they ran off, and we went and got some sandwiches. But so that was yesterday morning. We decided that we really want to try to get some good footage. And I do not like getting into blinds. I hate turkey blinds. I kind of think it's cheating. I mean, you can spook a turkey in a turkey blind, but I just don't like them. But we decided to set up this turkey blind and go up there and try to get some good footage of this turkey. And we put a decoy out. And I don't really like decoys either. Not because I think decoys are cheating, but I've had decoys probably ruin more hunts than I've had them do any good in a hunt. So that's why I don't really like decoys. So we go up there, and we're sitting there, and birds start gobbling. And I'm calling to them a little bit. I'm kind of just hoping they're going to do what they did the day before and fly down right in front of us. And they're hot for a little bit. I'm doing a little calling. They're kind of hot. And then they shut up, and nothing has flown down to the field. And I'm thinking, shit, we spooked these birds, and they're gonna, wander off on the side of the mountain up there or something. So, starting to, get a little disappointed. I don't honestly know what time it was. It was still pretty early. And all of a sudden, I look over Trey's shoulder, and there's like a flock of turkeys coming into the field. There are two, three big ones out front, and a bunch of little black ones in the back. And we've got this strutter decoy out in front of us at 22 yards. And it all the way at probably 250, 300 yards, I can see this one bird and his head is white and he hunches those shoulders up and starts running at us. And I'm like, shit, Trey, here he comes. And he's running. And Trey, I don't think really knows how fast a turkey can get to you when it decides to come. But it probably was 10 seconds later, and that bird was about in our lap. And he comes flying in. I think Trey's swapping out a memory card or something on his camera just in the nick of time.
Trey, it's right beside you. Shoot it. You ready? Yep. Ready? Yep.
And he comes in and gobbles a couple times with that decoy. I think he even kicked at it one time and then fucking let him have it. Smoked his ass.
Okay. Shoot it.
Even shot the decoy. Hell yeah. Oh yeah, I shot him up good. Oh. Under thighs right here. That bird weighed 19.6 pounds today. I weighed it and had pretty good spurs, but you know, nothing real impressive on it. It did have a pretty thick neck, which to me is, you know, evident that it's possibly an older bird. But it's hard to say. We just need to go up there and kill that other bird and see. It spurred me a little bit when I picked him up. So yeah, I was, you know, that bird, I picked it up and the bird was totally dead, and I dropped it, tried to grab it and drug the spur over my hand, sliced my hand open, which I've gotten spurred pretty bad before, but it's always on a bird that's alive. I've never cut myself on a spur like this, but yeah, it hurts. It sliced me up. But that bird, I still don't think it's the dominant bird up there. I think it's the subdominant bird, and he was possibly the first one to see the decoy and was like, well, I'm gonna get in there and do my thing before I get my ass run out of pasture. He wanted to get in there, kind of show off, show what he had, and then was probably gonna hightail out of there. And I still think there's a bigger bird up there, but we don't know.